Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a case about the killing of Fakhreddin Knight, known to his friends, family, and loved ones as Muhammad. On April 25, 2014, Mr. Knight had plans with his girlfriend, Wendy Jambolis. Her mother was in town, and they were going to visit her. They got in the car and they started driving towards the location they planned to meet Ms. Jambolis' mother. And on the way, they turned around and they went to the home of Corey McMath in Miramar, Broward County, Florida. Mr. McMath was a friend of Muhammad's and had a lot of other acquaintances, some of which the names I read when I read the witness list. Muhammad tells Ms. Jambolis to drive to Corey McMath's house. And when they get there, Muhammad goes into the house. Wendy Jambolis stays in the car. She estimates 10, 15 minutes go by. Muhammad goes to the house with nothing in his hand. He comes out with a plastic red Solo cup, a drink. Ms. Jambolis doesn't see or hear anything that goes on at the house. Muhammad gets in the passenger side, and Ms. Jambolis starts driving down the street. And at the end of the street, there's an intersection and a stop sign. And there's a car parked at that intersection and stop sign. And there's two people in that car. The driver, Demetrius, and the passenger, Armando Baptista. So Ms. Jambolis is sitting in her car, and Muhammad is sitting in the passenger side, and he reaches over and honks the horn. They're waiting to go. He gets out of the car. In his hand, his right hand, he has the red Solo cup. Ms. Jambolis stays in the car. She's watching what's going on. Muhammad starts walking towards the car that stopped in front of them. And while he's walking towards that car, the passenger of that car, Armando Baptista, is coming out and kind of walking towards him. And Ms. Jambolis says, Muhammad reaches over like he's going to shake Armando Baptista's hand. And Armando Baptista reaches over like he's going to shake Muhammad's hand, but what does he do instead? He sucker punches him in the face. And Muhammad's hands go up. And he starts defending himself and bracing. And during this, Armando Baptista starts stabbing Muhammad. Where's this defendant? In the car, gets out of the car. Ms. Jambolis gets out of her car and runs towards this, trying to help, screaming, telling them to stop. And she's face to face with this defendant, and she tells him, make them stop. He's being stabbed. He's being killed. He doesn't. He stabs him. Ms. Jambolis, seeing this, runs back to her car, screaming that she's going to call 911. And when this defendant hears that, he gets in the car with Armando Baptista and drives away. Because she's screaming that she's calling 911. And what does that mean? The cops are coming. So he gets away. Muhammad is dying. He's stabbed, bleeding out. Ms. Jambolis is screaming. They're waiting for 911. And the person who they were visiting, Corey McMath, went into the house. He didn't see what happened, but he came out when he heard the screaming. He saw Muhammad dying on the ground. He went into the house to get towels to help. He saw all the blood and waited there. Something very important about Mr. McMath. He did not instigate this altercation. He didn't plan this killing, and he had nothing to do with it. When he was having this gathering at his house, a few people were coming and going. The defendant and his passenger, Armando Baptista, another man named Walter Stanley. These are some of the names that I told you about when we started. And all of those people, Mr. McMath, Mr. Stanley, whoever we call to the stand that was at that house, they will tell you there was no problem that night. There was no altercation, there were no bad words exchanged, there was no fight, and that deserved for him to be killed. And when he got out of the car to approach the he wasn't yelling any words that would cause a fight. He was walking towards that car with a red Solo cup in his hand, and he moved that red Solo cup into his left hand so he could shake hands with this defendant's passenger, Armando Baptista, and they killed him. And we are here because of that killing. This is a case where I told you, we will prove to you that the crime of manslaughter was committed, and this is the defendant who committed the crime. And I showed you the two elements of manslaughter. The victim is dead, and the defendant intentionally committed an act or acts that caused the death of the victim. And we will prove that to you beyond a reasonable doubt. And when I come before you at the end of this case, I'm going to ask you to convict Demetrius Elder of the crime of manslaughter, because that is what the evidence will prove to you. Thank you.